How's it going today, folks? My name's Jason, and today we're making brownies. Of course, we're using freshly milled, soft, organic white wheat flour from A's Standard. I'll provide a link to them below. I'm using a recipe from my very first cookbook I got back in 1987 called Kids Cooking, a very slightly messy manual by the editors of Klutz Press. This originally came with a set of measuring spoons, which I think are still at my parents' house. Apparently you can buy this edition new on Amazon, but it costs $173.80. I'm going to leave an affiliate link in the description for a less expensive updated version if you're looking for the perfect introduction to cooking for a young potential chef in your life. Now, I love this cookbook. I still use some recipes 35 years later, like eggs in a frame, not so sloppy joes, and twice baked potatoes. And, of course, this recipe for brownies. For this recipe, you'll need 2 cups sugar, 1¼ cups flour, 4 eggs, 3/4 cup of cocoa. I'm using Dutch processed cocoa powder, 2 sticks or 1 cup butter, and 1 teaspoon vanilla extract. Set your oven to 350 degrees Fahrenheit and grease an 8 or 9-inch baking pan. So let's get started.
All right, so we're grinding our flour. Again, this is soft white wheat from A's Standard. I'll leave a link in the description box down below. Now I'm melting some butter. I got this pan from Finex in Portland. 2 sticks of butter here. I've heard a couple ways of basically what I'm doing in this version is I'm mixing all the dry ingredients first and then melting the butter and then mixing that in. So you're mixing the chocolate in here. But I heard of another way to do it that actually helps the chocolate bloom a little bit more, is melt the butter and then add the chocolate into the butter, and then the chocolate will combine with the fat of the butter and basically create like a smoother texture. And I've tried that and it works pretty well, but the way I'm doing it here works pretty well too. Just adding the liquid, that including the vanilla extract, in to all the dry ingredients and give them a good whisk. And again, just mixing to incorporate the ingredients, not really trying to get it super smooth, but just basically to wet all the dry ingredients. Then adding the eggs last, so the dough is cooler after pouring the liquid butter in there. 4 eggs in, and then just mixing it again, just till it's smooth, just till everything's incorporated. Not using a whisk here because the batter got a little bit too thick. Just using a spatula to incorporate everything together. And just till it gets nice and smooth. I've got a pan that's greased up just with butter. I'll spread that evenly over the pan. Making sure to get as much out of there, out of the bowl as possible. Leaving some room for it to expand a little bit. Just clean it up a little bit, and then just a little tap to get it to settle down. Not really worried about the air bubbles in there. Some people like to pop the bubbles, but I just leave them. And here's the done batch. You can see it rose up a little bit. Got a nice little crust on the top. And then just to divide it, I use roughly the size of the spatula, which is about, it's 1.5 inches to 1.75 inches spatula. Maybe 2 inches. And then it's kind of a good gauge to use for slicing it up. And assuming I grease the pan right, it'll just pop right out and be ready to go. Got a nice cross section here. It just looks delicious. So let's try it.
And there we have it. My favorite dessert, brownies. If I were to make any adjustments to this recipe, I'd probably cut the amount of sugar down to 1 cup and let more of that wonderful cocoa flavor shine through. Now these are great on their own, or combine it with a scoop of homemade vanilla ice cream for that ultimate treat. If you'd like to see more recipes using freshly milled ingredients, hit the subscribe button and leave a like. Now I'm going to enjoy this brownie, and I'll see you in the next video.